What's going on, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Crocs and Hot Pocket Show. My name is Knackers, and today is Sunday, October 7th, 2018, and this is episode number 73. Tonight is a 1v1 with the homie, the dude, the broheim, MiddleAgedStream. How you doing, man?
What up, dude?
What's crack-a-lackin'?
Oh, man, I have not felt this good or this rested on a Sunday evening in some time.
Is it because of just having extra time to relax, or is it that awesome new t-shirt you got going on there?
Maybe both. But no, I had we didn't have a football game this week, so I got this like Friday night off and Saturday night off, so I got a whole lot of sleep and a whole lot of time to not be at work. I mean, I had to work today, but it was only a couple hours less than usual, so
okay.
It was nice. It was really, really nice.
Awesome, man. All right, well, we're gonna get back to you in just a hot second. Of course, during the show, if you guys would like to ask any sort of question, feel free to use the exclamation Q command in chat, followed by your question, and we will answer all of those at the end of the show. If we're not live and you'd like to ask a question, or if you want to submit any sort of feedback, feel free to shoot me an email at crocs@knackers.com. And lastly, if you enjoy the podcast and you want to help support us in a completely free way, please consider leaving a review for the podcast on iTunes. So, Jimbo...
Oh, we view.
Who are you, and where can we find you online?
My name is Jimmy, aka MiddleAgedStream. You can find me on Twitch at MiddleAgedStream, Twitter at MiddleAgedStream, no D. Oh, wait. Yeah, no D. And then Instagram at MiddleAgedStream.
Got no D on Twitter.
I ain't got no D on the Twitter, man. No D.
And my name is Knackers. You guys can find me on this very Twitch channel, or you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Knackers with 3 A's. First and foremost, what are we drinking tonight?
Ooh, I've got a collection. I felt bad. I know Salty had to work. He was on call, so he couldn't be here. So I figured I would up my drinking tonight for him.
Okay.
So we are starting with, and I think you've had this. This is the Destil Wild Sour, the Cranberry Creek one.
Did you just put that beer up to the wrong camera?
I did. Shut up.
I do love that beer.
But I did. And anyway, this beer is great. And then there's more. But wait, there's more. Then in these koozies I have over here, I grabbed a couple of these. These are some new. So Shiner beer is kind of like almost like a domestic beer from Texas. They sell it all over. But they started doing these craft brewing series with their limited release. And they made this one called Dewberry Tart.
Ooh.
Which it wasn't until yesterday that I figured out what a dewberry is. Apparently, a dewberry is some type of it's kind of in the blackberry family.
Okay.
And I had a couple of these last night, and they were really, 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 really good.
Dewberry.
And to polish things off, because why not? I also have a little bit of this Swedish whiskey my buddy brought me back from Sweden.
Swedish whiskey?
Yeah, Swedish whiskey. So I have a friend of mine who he's been staying at our house for like the last 2 weeks. He just left the other day. But he works for the State Department, and he's an IT guy for the State Department. So
okay.
he travels all around the world in different embassies and whatnot. Well, he was on assignment last summer. He spent most of it in Sweden. So he had a really good time there, and he knows he drinks whiskey. He knows I drink whiskey. So every time he goes somewhere, he usually picks me up a bottle of something. And he's like, "Man, I want you to try some Swedish whiskey." So he brought it back, and it's different, but it's actually really, really, really good.
How different? How can you describe it at all?
It's a little sweeter than I mean, it's not sweet, but it's kind of the finish has almost like a hint of like a syrup taste at the very end of it, as opposed to kind of a more stout Irish whiskey. It's sweeter than the stuff that I generally drink, but it's certainly by no stretch of the imagination is it sweet.
Okay,
but it just kind of closes with a little sweet note, so it's nice. It's good. You?
This is a beer that I have seen getting dranketed so much over my past decade of drinking.
I already know what that is just by looking at the bottle.
I mean, my last 7 years of drinking. I've seen this beer all over. I've tried it, but I've never actually purchased it. And I was looking for something cheap and new when we went to the liquor store yesterday, and the beer is Red Stripe. So it's a very
Jamaican lager.
Yeah. Didn't know it was Jamaican whatsoever until I was looking at the bottle earlier today. But 12, a little 11 fluid ounce bottle here. Some beautiful minimalistic design. It's just shy of 5% alcohol by volume, and it's pretty good. It's just like it's just a little pilsner. It's not anything Well, I don't know if it's a pilsner, but lager.
It's a lager, but it's. You know what I like about Red Stripe? It is the perfect day drinker. It is also the perfect, like, you're outside, just finished mowing the yard, or you're grilling. I mean, it's not too, you're not going too hard in the paint with a beer like that,
It doesn't,
nice.
It doesn't cause the, it's like a beer that you can drink all day and then not have to nap afterwards.
Exactly. Yes.
My go-to day drinking beer, especially if it's nice out, is Rolling Rock, because that is literally drinking water. It's so good.
My day drinker is I've got a bunch of them, but one of them that I go to from time to time, because you can find it most places, is Stella. Like, I can drink Stella all day, and I mean, it's no big deal. Like, it's not gonna make me tired.
Yeah. Now Stella, I think, smells like weed.
It has a strange odor.
It does, but it's so good.
Yeah.
You know what?
It is a good beer.
I hate how they have the fucking paper around the top of the bottle. It's just one more step in between me and sipping on some fucking syrup.
You can just pop the top off without even touching the paper. The paper will tear when you pop it.
But then it's like, it's frayed, and sometimes when you go to drink it, like, paper comes off in your mouth. Fuck all that. Just, like, get rid of that shit. Nobody wants it.
You're right. I'm not a big fan of the paper either, but I guess that's what makes it fancy.
Yeah, like, you're going to use it as a fucking flotation device if you fall overboard? Like, it's no good, duck.
Well, it's Belgian. The Belgians are weird,
All right, fair.
God love them, but they make some great beers, but they're weird.
All right, well, because today is a 1v1, I did want to do a little bit of a guest interview, because most people know about you and where you originate and what you're all about. But I figured there's probably somebody in chat or listening at a later date that might learn something new about you. So we'll tackle a couple 1v1 questions. But I first want to know what's been going on in your life for the past 2 weeks, both gaming and non-gaming. So what's been up?
So non-gaming, teaching. Of course, I teach history, and that's been going well. I really like my classes this year, because I think I mentioned this before, but almost every year as a teacher, you always have the one class that you're just kind of like, about. Like, I mean, you like some of the kids in the class, but there's just one that rubs you the wrong way sometimes. I don't have a class like that this year. So,
at all.
And I think at all. And it's the first year I've been teaching that I haven't had that. So that's kind of nice. And so I really like my classes. Football, it hasn't been going as well as I'd hope. We haven't won as many games as we wanted to, but the guys are still playing hard. They're still working hard, and it is what it is.
When do your seasons come to an end? As far like, when do you get a fucking break, dude?
It's usually, if we don't make the playoffs, I'll be done coaching. I think our last game is like around the middle of November.
Have you ever considered throwing away a season and like sabotaging the playoffs so that you could just have more free time before Christmas?
I wouldn't have that much. I only coach one position. I'm an assistant coach in football, so I don't really have a lot of control. And
I mean, you can hold a baseball bat, right? All it takes is a couple ankles.
It's true. It's true. I'm not gonna lie. There's been times in the past where I've just been so tired that I would be lying to say the thought hadn't crossed my mind of like, man, if we win this, I'm not gonna be that upset. Right. If we don't win this, I mean. But that's normal. I mean, that's a normal feeling, I think, when anytime you invest that kind of time into something, whether it's football or maybe if you have a job and you're nearing the end of a project that you've poured a ton of time into, and at the end you find yourself like, oh, I could just cut a few corners here and there, and you're like, no, I gotta do this right. But I think that's just a normal human feeling.
Absolutely.
So between that and then soccer, this is my first year as a head coach, so I've been doing that, and it's been interesting. I think that's going pretty well. I think we a good thing in a weird way is that most of the starters last year were seniors, so it's like almost a whole new team in a lot of ways this year. But and at the same time, that means expectations aren't super high. Plus, the new head coach, I imagine. But I look at these guys and I'm like, man, I think we're going to surprise a lot of people and have a good year this year. So
Sweet.
trying to get those guys to buy in and I was mentioning earlier, I had this weekend off, so I like Friday night, I'm usually at work. I usually don't get home till late because of Friday night football. So we went out. My wife and son and I, we went out to dinner and had there's a local. It's like a German beer hall, like the style of restaurant that it is.
Okay.
And they had Friday night. They have live music and everything too. So we sat outside. It was beautiful weather. I had a nice big Jaeger schnitzel and some, Oktoberfest beer. And there's like kids running around playing everywhere. My son's having a good time. And then we came home, put him to bed. And then my wife and I just hung out on the back porch for like 3 hours, just drinking beer, cracking jokes, and listening to music. And it was awesome.
Aww.
And it was a nice night. It was nice to just, you need to, I think, especially if you go all the time, it's good. You really need those moments to just kind of decompress and just hang out.
Mm-hmm.
I think humans, we need those moments. So it made me feel good. Yeah. So it was nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. As far as non-gaming, gaming-wise, I haven't had a ton of time. The only thing I've played recently since our last podcast was Spider-Man. I've been still playing that. I think I'm about halfway through the game.
Okay.
PS4. Again, fantastic game.
Still fantastic?
Amazing. Spectacular. Ultimate Spider-Man. But no, it's good. It's really good. I have nothing but good things to say about it. And if you have a PS4, it's like a must-buy. I mean, that's how good this game is.
I know I've asked you this before, but do you have the regular PS4 or the Pro?
I have the regular.
Okay.
Yeah, and it plays beautifully. It plays like a freaking dream.
Okay.
So it's really nice. And then played a little bit of No Man's Sky, but I haven't had time to play it as much as I want. But I'll be getting back into that here soon enough.
Okay, good, because I have some questions, unironically, about that a little bit later.
And then soon, I would like to try Life is Strange 2. And then Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out at the end of this month. I would like to go back and do a playthrough of the first one. And I probably will, just because I know everyone and their mom's going to be streaming the second one anyway, And this way, too, I don't have to worry about spoiling it for anyone who wants to try it, play it new, and whatever. So I'll go back and I'll play through the first one before I start Red Dead 2. And then finally, the new Jackbox, I think, is supposed to come out later this month. And I always love the Jackbox games. So
okay.
it's coming out soon.
I still, to this day, have not done a Jackbox stream just because I have seen so many people end up with terrible responses. And I'm so afraid of getting banned, getting suspended.
Yeah, you have to be careful. But there's tools that they have in place where you can easily keep trolls out. Like, I will only do it really with like subs. It's like a sub game sort of deal.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the other thing is there's moderation tools that you have at your disposal. So if something's on, you can immediately get rid of it, and then they're just ban someone. So
okay.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. And that's one of the reasons why you got to be careful of the games you pick too, because when we would play TKO, it always just turned out to be just everyone drawing a bunch of dicks, myself included.
Yeah, I mean, can you not? It's like
it's hard not to, man. It's hard not to.
I can't remember if we talked about this last podcast, but I saw that Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be locked at 30 FPS on PS4. And
really?
I've seen games lately that are played at 30, and it's not the worst, but for a game that is coming out in almost 2019, being locked at 30, my only assumption is that they got a little overzealous with the development of the game, and when it came time to testing it on the hardware, they're like, okay, there's no way we're going to be able to pull.
I think I read somewhere that the install for this game is over 100 gigs or something stupid like that.
Insane.
I mean, that's a big ass game, and I imagine like most other Rockstar games, like they load you in, you probably don't have too many loading scenes.
Do you remember the loading scenes for Grand Theft Auto 5?
Some of them were long.
Minutes! Minutes with an S on the end. Are you kidding?
Yeah. No, some of them were very, very, very long.
And the crazy thing about that is people knew that was a thing, and then they still rebought it again for like the next gen console. This is fucking insane. I can't believe they got away with that. To this day, it's an amazing game, but I can't believe it's like the most sold video game in the history of time. It's just crazy.
I'd be willing to bet that the Red Dead 2 is probably going to have some pretty long loading times because it's supposed to be a pretty massive world, and Spider-Man, we're talking about 30 frames per second, and I'll just say this: that game runs at 30 frames at least. I don't know what it on the PS4 Pro or anything, but on the standard PS4, it's locked at 30 frames, and it's buttery smooth and nice.
Yep.
So I mean, you can have a great experience at 30 frames. It's just depends on the game you're playing, I guess.
I want to know the science behind that, of why the games that are coming out nowadays that are still locked at 30 look really good. Like No Man's Sky on console that re-released, a couple months back, looks fantastic. Horizon Zero Dawn, I played it for PS4 and that was 30, and it wasn't that bad. But it surprised me that a game that was coming from a AAA title at the end of 2018 with these beasts of consoles that we have right now was still going to be locked at 30. And there actually wasn't that much of an uproar on the internet as I thought there was going to be. And I mean, I think that is to your point of games don't look that terrible at 30. And especially people who have never experienced anything higher than 30, it's not that big a deal anyways.
Yeah, and for me, I mean the highest game stuff that I ever play is at 60, so I mean it's not like yeah, I know.
It's two things we need to do the next time you're here, which I know might not be for another 2 years. But for one, the other day, I realized that for 2 years in a row, I forgot to take you to the beer store that is downtown that puts all of our... I know we got enough alcohol. There was so much beer and so much whiskey, some of which I still have in this fridge. But I was like, that was the one thing I really wanted to do, was to take you there and watch your jaw drop. And then I fucking forgot to do it again.
It's okay, man. That just gives me another reason to come back. Oh my God. How did you get in here?
The cat?
A cat.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of cats, holy fuck.
They're communicating. Hang on. Let me throw her outside.
Yeah, you got it.
Because she's not supposed to be in here.
Hi, buddy.
In my son's room.
Hello.
Come on.
Oh, don't trip. Hello, kitty. Would you like a sip? Yeah, you want some of that? No? Okay. That's actually probably animal cruelty, right? It's not like I don't beat you. Go, please. See you later.
Okay. Now that we're done messing with our pussies.
And then the last time you were here, I know the focus was VR, but I know
we forgot the whole 144 hertz. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot too. But then I think one of the reasons, I remember we even talked about it, and then I got sick playing VR, man. And then watching people play VR, actually made it worse.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm old.
That's all right. I actually, we were playing The Forest the other day. Well, we played The Forest first time, and Speed, a VR veteran, tapped out after an hour. And then 42, after like 2.5 hours, he's like, guys, I gotta take breaks. This is really fucking me up. And this usually doesn't happen to me. So happens to everybody. All right. We want to do a little bit of an interview here?
Sure. Well, what about you?
Oh, I'm not important. Are we talking about games and shit?
What have you been up to?
So the past 2 weeks, I know I had a podcast last week. Still just riding that unemployment train, but hopefully that is coming to an end tomorrow. We'll see. Yeah, I got some calls to make tomorrow, but there's a good chance that my unemployment streak is over. So the past 2 weeks have just been a shit ton of applying online, dealing with unemployment, and like I've said on Twitter, unemployment is one of the worst experiences I've ever had as a human being. I just was ineligible for my 8th week of unemployment in a row. Like every single week I've been ineligible for some stupid reason. And I know that claiming my Twitch income from the one Twitch payout pretty much gave me, it deducted my benefits for like probably 3 weeks. They were like, oh, well, I mean, you got a significant amount of money there where you don't really need us. And then like I tried to appeal one of their decisions because I answered a question wrong. And now all of a sudden I have to have a conference call with a judge and my previous employer in 2 days. It's the stupidest thing. I like that it's all online, but there's so much more of me that wishes I could just walk in and just fucking talk to somebody about what's going on, because everything is online. You can never call and get a hold of anybody because the offices are always busy. It's a fucking nightmare. So I don't wish unemployment on anybody because of like just the fact of not having an income. I just don't want you to ever have to deal with the unemployment office of your state because it's a fucking nightmare. It's terrible.
Well, I mean, they make it that way on purpose now just to keep people from, fraudulent claims and that sort of shit.
Right.
But at the same time, yeah, I've heard similar stories from some other friends that went through, a period of time where they were in between jobs, and yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, unless they were like my enemy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want you to die, but I do want you to have to go talk to somebody in unemployment offices.
Yeah, go to the unemployment office, bitch. Yeah, take that, motherfucker.
I had some family barbecues. For August to October is like street fair festival bonanza in my hometown. So like every other week, they've got block parties that are going on downtown. So we went downtown, we grabbed some beers, got some, there's a food truck called Motor City Bistro, and they have a lobster mac and cheese that is very, very good.
That sounds so good.
I had that. I got some, there was a bunch of Sam Adams on. It is Oktoberfest, so Sam Adams is obviously there. They had a shit ton of beers, and I felt like I ate something else. Weenie got this pizza, this thin crust pizza from this one place. It was the worst pizza that I've ever had. Like, when was the last time you actually ate a piece of pizza and you did not finish it because it was that bad?
I've actually relatively recently. There was a place that we used to like going to close to here, and they undercooked the pizza, so it was just like all doughy at the bottom. And I tried cooking it again in the oven, but it just, once it was taken out, but it just wasn't any good. So we ended up having to throw away the pizza. It's like a $20-something fucking pizza, with like had all the toppings, all the accoutrements, and it was like super dough in the middle, man.
The fuck was that word?
Accoutrements?
Accoutrements?
Yeah, like accessories, like, toppings.
That's a nice word.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna use that the next time I give out one of my pearl necklaces. Like, happy accoutrements, bitch. The pizza was so thin crust. When I say thin, I mean like thinner than a graham cracker.
Like Totino's shitty frozen pizza thin.
I don't think I've had a Totino's frozen one before.
My wife loves that shit. I can't stand it.
But no, incredibly thin. Maybe like Ritz cracker or maybe wheat thin thickness or thinness.
Like you're staring down in the bathroom thin.
Yeah. And so like the cornmeal on the underside was burnt. It was charred. It had this weird, like chemically tinge to it. It was, I took a bite, spit it out. I was so confused that I had to take another bite and taste it again to try and figure out what the fuck was going on. So that was the first time that's ever happened that I've ever had a pizza I've hated. The only other time I've had pizza that I've hated. Now, Digi, if you're listening to this in the future, I got to throw you under the bus. Digi came into town from Jersey years and years and years ago, and he brought back, in his eyes, the greatest pizza of all time. And so I'm like, oh man, okay, we got some pizza. And
from Jersey?
I think he drove to New York to get the pizza, and then drove all the way to Michigan with the pizza.
Holy shit, man.
So it was obviously a little bit old. And like, I don't know how long a drive to Jersey is, 10, 13 hours, somewhere in there. And the pizza was like super thin crust and then maybe like an inch of tomato sauce. Or no, I'm sorry. Super, super fucking thick bread. It was really, really thick bread, a huge layer of tomato sauce, and then just a thin layer of cheese and no toppings. And I've never hated like a pizza more than that one, other than the one I had yesterday. But I was like, because it was Digi and his buddy at the time, and they were like, "No, this is the best fucking pizza in the world. You're gonna love it." And I was like, "This is terrible." But it's just like the style of pizza, I guess, out that way.
It did travel in a car for 12 hours though, too. I mean, that had to have been a factor, perhaps.
It wasn't, because I can eat pizza that stayed in a box on the counter the next day and be happy. But this is just not my type of pizza.
Yeah.
Sorry, Digi. I still love you though. As far as gaming, I jumped into Assassin's Creed Black Flag for the first time. What
do you think?
I don't know. That game has to be the worst and most unorganized, clunkiest controls I've ever played in a video game ever.
Believe it or not, it's better than some of the earlier Assassin's Creed controls.
The fact that it's an assassin game, a stealth game where you are supposed to be able to assassinate people in stealth. There's no dedicated button for crouch. Like,
I know.
What?
Well, they auto map a lot of like features and functions, and it takes a little while to get used to. But I will say this: for whatever it's worth, I'm not a huge Assassin's Creed fan, but I love the shit out of that game, and it really takes off after about 7 or 8 hours.
Okay.
So
I'll play it again, but it blew my mind that a game that was supposed to be based off of stealth, there was no designated buttons to hide up against corners. Like, everything is sticky controls. Like, oh, if you get close enough to this wall, then you'll lead up against it. And if you want to...
Are you playing with a mouse keyboard?
No, I'm actually playing with a controller.
Okay, I can't imagine playing that game with a mouse keyboard.
No, it's probably... I kind of drew the line there. Yeah, I was like, okay, your stubbornness needs to be laid to rest. Just play with a goddamn controller. Especially games that are... If the game...
It was designed for a controller.
Exactly.
That game.
Ported over from, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, whatever the fuck at the time. So
it came out on 360 and PS3, so it's been a while.
Okay. Game's gorgeous, runs great. It's funny because my computer can't even run it maxed out. Like, it's so poorly optimized that I had to like move everything down to medium. But the game's cool. I mean, it's a cool game. The story is kind of cool. I'm not really dug into it yet, but I was getting real frustrated because, like, if every battle existed with 100 meters of like walking distance on each side, it'd be fine. But when you're trying to fight on a battleship and you're more likely to like skip across posts rather than just walk on the ground, like you walk too close to something, you jump up. B is interact.
Yeah.
Whose fucking idea was that?
I don't know.
Since when? So just that little kind of stuff.
It is, if you can get past the control issues, it is a very good game.
Okay.
But yeah, the controls are wonky as shit, and it takes time to untrain your brain. And that's Assassin's Creed games in general, like their control scheme. I don't know about the newer ones, but pretty much the ones, I don't know. I haven't played any of the new ones, so I couldn't tell you if they've changed it. But
okay. So I'll give it another shot at some point. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I definitely had the pull to go back and play it again. I beat Just Shapes and Beats in one stream. That game was fucking awesome. If you guys like bright colors, seizures, and the Monster Cat music label, check out that game. I beat it in 3.5 hours. The game is $20, so. If you really love electronic music, it's basically a game where you are a square and you have to keep out of the range of things that are popping up on screen. It's basically a keep away game. The more hits you take, the closer you get to dying. If you die, you have to start the thing over. But the whole board reacts to the music, so everything is in sync with the music. Enemies appear and reappear with beat drops, and it's a very visually pleasing game. Very, very awesome game. I enjoyed it a lot, and I would recommend it. $20 is just a little steep for me for that amount of playtime. But the cool thing with that game is that hopefully they will release, like Guitar Hero or Rock Band, they'll just release a DLC that just has more songs, more levels. But I can imagine that the development time that went into making just one level for an entire song was probably extensive. I played Monster Hunter World for a day as well.
What do you think?
It was cool.
The learning curve on that game is steep.
Very steep. Yeah, it was my first time playing Monster Hunter game ever.
Yeah.
And
pretty much, yeah.
I was intrigued. I had a lot of fun playing it. Definitely a game that's more fun with other people. Trying to just get a hold on the UI and the skill trees and how items progress through those trees. That was a little overwhelming. But that's why I love streaming those kind of games, because for every game you play, you got at least 5 people in your community who know exactly what's going on and can kind of coach you through it. And I probably wouldn't have... First of all, I wouldn't have tried it if Cube didn't gift it to me and also picked it for Sub-Select. So definitely a game I want to go back to and try again, because it seems like it could be fun. But I had my opinion of the game swayed early before I even had a chance to play it.
Right.
But I'm glad I got back to doing it again. And then I beat Doom, which 10 out of 10 game. Is there anything else to be said? Have you ever played Doom?
Yeah, it makes me sick.
It made me a little sick in the beginning as well.
Yeah, it just moves too fast for me. Like, it just FPS games that move that quickly just they give me motion sickness. So I thought it was a great game, and I was having a lot of fun with it, and I was playing it, but like it would, about an hour and a half, 2 hours in, man, I'm starting to freaking sweat. My stomach's starting to turn. I'm like, oh, I don't feel so good. I got a headache.
Not only is the game making you sick, but the music makes you go, and you're shaking your head.
No, the soundtrack's awesome. It's a really good game, and it's the only, like I said, just for whatever reason, those things just make FPS, fast-paced FPS games especially, can really kind of do a number on me.
Every game, if there's like camera shake or camera bob or head bob, that shit's got to go off.
Oh yeah. But even with that stuff off, it's still
a lot. Yeah, that game's overwhelming for sure.
But it's an awesome game. No, I like it. I can actually watch people play that game and not be too bothered, but playing it myself, just
no go. The last game I got into was I had a Night of the Forest VR with Cal Nohe, Vans, and Mr. 42. I need another game like The Forest in VR. A open world survival sort of sandboxy game that has a mild campaign, like a not on the rails campaign. First of all, The Forest is one of my favorite games of all time. I
still have not played it.
Oh, okay. When you do not do it alone. You need to find friends that you say, look here, fuckers, I'm going to play this game every Tuesday at 8 p.m. And you have to assign a contract saying you'll be there for all 4 days, or I'm going to pass you over and go find somebody else.
Or I'm going to feed you that pizza that's shitty.
Right. I'm going to take you to street fair and give you some pizza.
Yeah.
But it's such a great game. To experience it with the crew is great. It's a very team-oriented game, and the story is it's great. And I don't want to say anything more than that. So
cool. No, I've heard great things about it. I just had never played it.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, had a really good time with that. Playing it in VR is awesome. I can't wait for more games like that. I'm really excited. All right, let's get on to a fucking interview now, dude. Now, everyone obviously kind of knows you, but if you'd like to touch on quickly who you are and where you're from, you're more than welcome to do so.
Well, my name's Jimmy, and I am from Texas. I live in the greater San Antonio area, So it's kind of like the hill country, Texas. And my day job, I'm a teacher. I teach high school history, and I coach sports. I coach football and soccer. And I've been streaming on Twitch for over 3.5 years now, closer to 4 years than 3. And I was fortunate enough to meet you and a lot of the people in your community thanks to Twitch. Love me some video games. Also love me some consoles.
No!
And I love them both. There's room for love for all things.
You've been here
3 times.
3 times. Okay. I think that I've seen you either more or as many times as I've seen 42. I'm pretty sure I've seen 42 and you the most out of all the people that I've met from online. I think.
Well, 42, he was not there for the last meetup.
Right.
But he was there, wasn't he, for the first one?
Yeah, he was there for the first meetup. I saw him at TwitchCon, and then I saw him again.
The second meetup.
You've seen him twice?
I can't remember if I've seen him twice or once. Maybe I've only seen him once. I think I've only seen him once.
Okay, that would make sense
IRL.
because I saw him once for a GSN meetup.
Yeah, no, I've only been able to link up with him once.
Okay. I was supposed to see him
summer before last.
Okay, got it. Time fucking flies, man.
Dude, it does. It only goes faster as you get older.
Okay. What is your favorite word?
Oh man, this is bringing back memories from like a year and a half ago. You had me on the show. It was like when the show had been going for like a year.
Okay.
And I think my word is still the same. No, I can't. Oh.
Wait, did we already do a 1v1 together?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like July of 2017.
Really?
Or June of 2017. Yeah, dude, check your freaking archives. Check it out. It's like episode 20-something. Check it out, dude.
Yeah, it's 27.
Yeah, see? Told you.
Oh, God, look at that. Oh, man.
I know.
Wow. Okay, well, thank you guys for coming out to the podcast tonight. Dude,
we can go through it. We can go through it. Yeah.
I really thought that I had not had you on a 1v1 before.
Yeah, it was a while back.
I'm shook.
It was a while back, though. It's cool. It was like always over a year ago.
I wonder how many of these questions are the same.
I have no idea.
Well, I guess we'll find out, right?
Yeah.
All right. Did you tell me your word? Because I wasn't listening.
Well, that's what made me think of me being on the first time.
Okay.
And I was like, and I think I remember my answer was, I really love to say fuck. I do. It's just one of my favorite words. But I know that was one of your other questions was,
God, yeah.
What's your favorite swear word? So my favorite word, it's hard to really narrow it down to one. Because I say a lot of words. I am one with the words. I would say, trying to think of what I use a lot. I say really a lot. Really? And I use it in a variety of ways. Really? Really?
What was the word that you used instead of accessories?
Accoutrements.
Accoutrements.
That's not a bad one either.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I do too.
I'm going to have to use that one in my next interview just to show off a little bit.
Good.
Okay, well, then that means your favorite curse word is...
Fuck. It's just, you can use it in so many ways.
Okay.
It's just great. And it feels good to say it. Especially if you have an emphatic fuck.
Yes.
It just feels good, like a fuck.
Do you like saying fuck? Is your favorite way to say it by itself? Or do you like pairing it up with some other words?
No, it's sometimes by itself, but usually you use it as an accessory, an accoutrement, if you will, to another phrase.
God damn it. What profession other than the one you are already pursuing would you like to attempt if you had the chance?
I always wanted to be a rock star. Like I wanted to be a like a guitarist in a band, not a singer, you know.
Just a guitarist.
Just someone rocking out on stage with a guitar.
Okay.
That'd be sweet.
What kind of music?
Oh, it'd have to be rock.
Okay.
Like a rock band / alternative. I mean, but yeah, no. That'd be just, and living the rock star life for a while would be awesome.
Cocaine and STDs.
Until I got too burnt out on drugs and groupies.
Well, I'm just picturing you with super long hair like Mark Wahlberg from that one Rockstar movie. I think the movie's called Rockstar. Weenie's gonna put it in chat.
It is. It'd be cool to be a rock star, man. Be a fun life.
Okay. Describe a perfect Sunday morning that does not involve your wife or child.
Huh.
I'm gonna switch that one up a little bit.
I would say wake up. I don't know. I'd like to sleep in, so probably get up late, like around 9 a.m.
Sleeping in is 9? What the fuck?
Yeah, man. Sleeping in till like 9. Well, I usually wake up at like 5:30 or 6 a.m. So, that'd be sleeping in.
That's actually going to be my life pretty soon, because if I
better get ready.
If I want to continue doing the gym before work, it's going to involve getting up at 5:30 in the morning.
Woo! Here it comes, boy.
I'm not ready.
You never are, but you just adjust.
Let's get used to it. I did it for 3 years when I first got my last job. So from 20 to 23, I tried getting up that early, and it did not work. And I eventually ended up me going to management and saying, I need a later shift. I'm useless this early in the morning. But now that I'm a little bit older and I don't have hair to weigh me down, it might be feasible.
Oh, you adjust. You adjust it, but it still sucks. I mean, especially if you're not a morning person, which I am not. Even though I have to get up early, I am not.
You're really
person.
not?
No. I'm a night owl.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to stay up. I feel like I don't know. I just like staying up late. So perfect day. So I get up, sleep in till 9. I have a nice hot cup of coffee to get me started. Sit down on the back porch, read my news feed on my phone. Sip on my coffee, have a nice omelet for breakfast, like a really good omelet with
describe it.
I don't know, probably some cheddar cheese, maybe a little sour cream on top. I have also some mushroom, tomato, maybe a little ham to go in there too. Maybe a little avocado on top also. Let's see. And then after that, take a shower. Maybe I got some rivers in my area. Throw my kayak in the back of my truck, and then just go down and I like to just kayak down the river with a 6-pack of beer and just, enjoy life. And then I don't know. And then if it was just myself, then I guess maybe come home, take a nap. Because naps are exciting when you're my age.
I love fucking naps, dude.
Yeah. And then I'd probably wake up and then have like a really good, steak or pizza for dinner, and then drink some beer and play some video games.
Okay.
That'd be a perfect day. I was by myself.
I need to figure out the best way to prepare omelets. I've always sort of kind of fucked them up. I need to figure out the science behind making the good omelet and timing it well and making it so the bottom part of the omelet doesn't get burnt or anything.
A lot of it has to do with the pan you use.
Right.
Like you don't want to use a a cast iron pan. That makes it really difficult to make a good omelet.
Even though my cast iron's non-stick as shit. What you know about my pans, Jimmy?
Hey, I'm just saying we have some special pans that we use for eggs and stuff and other things in the house that they really work well for making omelets. So you might just have to get you a good pan. Then you'll be fine.
The pan I do have that I use for the majority of anything that I'm not cooking in the cast iron, the one nonstick pan I have is not great whatsoever. And I guess it would also be about the size of the pan too, because the bigger the pan, the thinner it's going to be when you try and do anything sexy with it. So
hey, it's not the size of the pan, it's how you use it. Okay,
size matters. What's your biggest pet peeve?
I really don't like when people make noises when it's quiet. I know that sounds ridiculous. Okay, so
Like a student popping bubble gum and
or tapping finger on a desk or just any sort of, I don't know. Those things just drive me insane. Like someone loud yawns, it drives me bad. Like I'll actually go stand by a student's desk and just stare at them until they stop.
oh,
Like I will shame them into stop making noise. But I have coworkers that do it too, and it drives me insane. Like I have coaches that I work in the office, and like for example, today we're in there and we're drawing up plays and whatever. I have to bring headphones with me to work because if I don't, and I have to be able to drown out the noise some of these other coaches make because it just drives me freaking batty.
okay.
So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that annoys me.
So
Little noises.
I had a question regarding your break, or just like you being able to have 2 days off and being able to relax. Do you ever get the itch to take a break from social media because you feel like you need it? Or do you have your feeds pretty cleaned up to the point where it doesn't bug you all that often?
Yeah, it doesn't really bug me. I don't follow a ton of people on social media. Because I used to do the whole, if it bothered me to just mute them, but then I was like, well, why am I even following this person if I'm just going to have them muted?
Exactly.
And then I just, and I'm not worried about hurting anyone's feelings. It's like, whatever. I mean, I may like you, but if your social media is just a bunch of spam or crap, I'm just going to unfollow you. And it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't like your feed necessarily. I've had plenty of people that I think they're great people, but they just, I'm not a fan of their social media, so I just unfollow it, But
I try and only talk about this when I'm having a conversation with other people because, like, my first my gut reaction, and still to this day, I'll type a tweet out and then I'll sit there and I'll close my eyes and I'll think and go, "Is this really worth it? What the fuck is this going to accomplish?" And then I usually just delete it so that there's no evidence of a draft. Also, I delete the entire tweet and then close out. But
I gotcha.
the amount of whining that is going on right now, it's just it's just complaining. If you tweet complaints like twice in a row, you're out of here.
I get it. I mean, there's sometimes something really is bothering you, but I know what you mean. If it's a habit, I'm generally pretty positive on my social media, and I'm a pessimist as a person, believe it or not. Like I'm a naturally pessimistic person. With that being said, I also know that sometimes, there's productive and non-productive ways to use your time, and just complaining about shit, just for if you're gonna complain about something, then what are you gonna do to fix it?
Right.
Like what's your, otherwise you're just adding to the problem, I think.
There are legitimate reasons to complain. Like, holy shit, I fell down a flight of stairs and I broken my entire face. Like,
yeah, that'd be a reason to fucking, snap a selfie with your mangled face.
I'm still alive. But I even like the amount of, and that's the thing. And from my perspective, it's not about like, oh, you can't complain because that's negative and I can't have negative things in my life because your vibe is killing my vibe. It's like, no, there's literally no benefit to you just whining all the time to a bunch of people on the internet who don't actually care about your well-being. And anytime I see somebody, like if I go to somebody's Twitter and their bio is like, Twitter is my outlet, it's like, oh God, let me just see myself out before we have a problem. But I never feel like I need a break from social media because I feel like I do a very good job of tailoring my feed to being information first and people's lives second. But lately, just when I'm just trying to go through Twitter to just get news and it's just nonstop complaining about things that don't fucking matter. It's just people just need a reason to complain. It drives me insane. And
that's the world we live. People do it too. It's a attention grab for some people because they're also naturally you got the exact opposite. You have the people out there that are the overly positive and super nice people that are just going to naturally just reach out and give the response that the other person wants.
Right.
You know? So I guess in that way, it provides some type of equilibrium for that. But I know the type of person you are. That's not you. And you obviously know the type of person I am. That's not me.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I don't post a lot on social media. I probably need to get better at it. My problem is it's hard for me to with work. Like, I'm lucky to get like, 2 or 3 tweets a day in at most, and that's I just don't have time to do it that much when I'm real busy.
Right. Well, good, because there's nothing good. It's a necessary evil. If I was not a streamer or a content creator, they would all be. I'd have Instagram because I like taking pictures, but all of the rest of the stuff would most likely be gone.
No, it's a good tool, but that's what it is. It's a tool.
Yep.
You gotta use it the right way.
Agreed. Burp or fart?
Fart. Yeah. Yeah, farts usually are more... I mean, burps are cool and all, but there's just something satisfying about ripping a good fart.
100%.
It's just... I mean, a really good burp is cool, but a really good fart is awesome.
Then, yeah. How often do you get to taste somebody else's burp? Not often. Now, farts, on the other hand, gobble that shit up. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
You know the answer to this, you son of a bitch.
I need it for the record. Again.
For the record, pineapple does not belong on fucking pizza. But I will eat it because my wife loves it. And I will occasionally get pineapple pizza because I love my wife.
Okay. So. Sun chips, harvest shatter, garden salsa, or neither?
Neither. I don't eat sun chips.
Fuck, that's 2 guesses in a row. God damn it. If you could bathe in anything other than water, what would you choose?
Yellow.
Yellow?
Jello.
Oh, Jello.
I'm like gelatin.
That's a color, my friend.
Like a pool of gelatin.
Okay.
Would be so cool. And then you could just kind of eat your way out.
If you had to pick one moment in your life that defined who you are today, what would it be?
Ooh,
the main really fork in the road.
Probably when I decided to get out of the Army. That was a big decision. And I was really scared because I joined the Army right after high school and I was in it for 8 years and it was all I had known as an adult and a young adult. And they kind of try and convince you that when you get out, like, you're not gonna be able to get a job and, kind of scare you into, re-upping in the military. But I'm glad I made the choice that I did. If I hadn't, then obviously I wouldn't have the life I have now, and I love my life. So that was probably the moment that kind of shaped, And at the same time, going back even further, joining the Army was also a big one for me because I think I was a punk ass kid, man. Like you would probably be surprised if you knew me when I was a teenager. Like, you'd be like, this is not the same guy.
Would I have liked you?
I think you would have,
okay.
But you would have probably been a little surprised.
Okay.
But
can you give me a little taste of maybe something a punk ass Jimmy would do?
I was an asshole. Like, I would intentionally antagonize just for the sake of, like, I didn't give a shit, And I thought that, I was nice to my friends and stuff like that, but I was kind of a dick. And by kind of, I mean a big one.
I think,
and not in the way you want to brag about.
I think I might have seen a little bit of that outside the bubble tea place in Ann Arbor. Okay.
But imagine that like 24 hours a day.
As long as it's not. I mean, if I'm a bystander, 100%. I'll watch that shit all day. But if it's aimed at me, I'm gonna cower like a little pussy.
Yeah, I didn't mean to intimidate the cookie delivery driver, Tweenie. It wasn't on purpose.
Oh man. All right. Well, since we've gone through most of these questions before, because I'm pretty sure I've had this script for longer than a year, we will cut the interview questions there. I can't believe I never remember, because you're probably one of the first 1v1s that I had on.
I think I might have been.
Because that would have been episode 27 would have been about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it was a while. It was a while ago.
I'm pro. All right, moving along to gaming news and discussion. There's just a couple topics that we wanted to touch on. But first, a couple just so you knows. Jimbo, would you be so kind to copy and paste these links in chat for me, dog?
Yeah.
Thank you. First, Skybound Games picks up final season of The Walking Dead from Telltale. So you guys will be seeing the final episodes being finished and published. So for those of you guys that were waiting to just basically give up on this game entirely, there will be the final. I don't know how many seasons are out now, Jimmy, or episodes of the season.
2. I haven't played the second one yet because they announced them cancel or shutting down the studio, and I was like, fuck. But then I heard this news and I was like, fuck yes.
Fuck yeah. Is it 2 out of 5?
There's 4 episodes in this final season.
Okay.
So there's only 2 more episodes I think they have to complete.
Roger. Okay. All right.
I think. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure there's only 4 episodes in this final season. It has to be because it was like a 20. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 4.
Okay. Careful updating Windows 10. You might have some of your files deleted. So Microsoft Windows for Windows 10 released update 1809, which has since been pulled. It was one of the most recent updates to the operating system, added a couple more features, like some more options in the resource monitor, dark mode for Windows Explorer, and other things of the like. And apparently, people who had files in their documents, music, downloads, and other folders within the user directory reported hundreds and hundreds of gigs worth of data being deleted and unrecoverable. So
that sucks.
If you haven't already updated, now if you have updates not automatic to where they have to be approved by you and set a time, there's a chance that this update hasn't hit you yet. If you have updates that come automatically, most of the time, if you've installed Windows 10 and you haven't made any changes to your Windows update settings, they're most likely getting installed automatically. If you have this update already, I would check to see if you have any missing files. Again, this is in the C users directory where your my documents, my downloads, my music, all that stuff. So you need to check on that. I updated the same day that this update came out, and I did not have any file loss. And this is also just another reminder from the backup guru that if you lose any files, it's your fault because you didn't back anything up. And you have no one to blame but yourself. You fucking hear me? Back up your shit. If you do not have your computer backed up, but I don't have a lot of important things. I don't have things that I would miss. You say that now, and then you realize your fucking pre-K graduation photos that your mom took because your dad wasn't there are gone forever. So, look, just back up your shit. I don't care if you Dropbox, Google Drive, fucking Aomi. Just get it done. But yeah, be careful because never in the history of Windows operating system updates have I heard of updates that are actually just deleting files from directories. Doing a little bit more digging, it appears that the files might still be on the hard drive somewhere, but this is going to sound really technical. The update for Windows made group policy changes to where the files are there, but Windows doesn't know how to tell you where the files are. Like the link between the location of the files and you is broken, so you can't see them. So there's a chance that if you use an app like Recuva, which is a free file recovery program, that you might be able to get those files back. But as anybody knows with file recovery stuff, it's not ever a guarantee. And so just be very careful. Remember to always back up your computer before doing any major Windows operating system updates. Do I have to turn that command off? God damn it, Paul. Yeah, I totally forgot to update that command. There's always one thing I forget to do.
Okay. We'll do it live. Doing
it fucking live. Yeah, if you go to the guest command, that link, it has Jimmy's info. But yeah, there has never been so many problems with updates from Windows in Windows 10 than there has been in any other operating system I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Now, I wasn't technologically experienced when Windows ME was a thing. It wasn't until Windows XP where I was getting a grasp on how computers work. So I can't really say whether or not that was the worst, but Windows 10 is the worst. I would go back. If I had Stream Deck support for Windows 8, I would go back to Windows 8 100%. This has been the most problematic operating system I've ever worked on. And it is, I loved Windows 10 when it first released. Absolutely loved it. It gets worse and worse every single goddamn day.
I've been lucky, but there have been a few Windows 10 updates that have borked my computer, like in the sense, not so much my computer, but they borked my streaming setup, and I had to redo some shit because things got messed up.
My watch is telling me to breathe. It knows I'm getting worked up talking about Windows 10.
Your freaking BPM is at 1,000. But no, man, I hear you. I loved Windows 7. Like I was
same.
I stayed on that until like the last possible moment I could upgrade free to Windows 10. And I stayed on that OS for the longest time. Like a Billy Joel song. For the longest time.
But seriously, get it back up. Let's go buy a hard drive, set up some backups. Do it for me, okay? I love you.
Try working MS-DOS, bitch. I used to do that back in the day. C/backslash/ whatever the fuck I needed to run. That was an operating system you want to, yeah.
Kids these days don't know.
They don't know.
Last but not least on the Just So You Knows, Nintendo patented a playable Game Boy phone case. Now, this was interesting. There's been a lot of third-party hardware phone cases that you can slip your phone into. They're way more prominent in the Android ecosystem because it was way easier to run emulators and stuff on Android devices. In order to do that on iPhone, most of the time you had to have a jailbroken device. But it looks like Nintendo is finally producing a first-party brand phone case that is going to have dedicated controls. So something that you can place on top of your phone to play emulated games. Now, I saw an interesting theory that this was the direction that they were going to go in for the Game Boy Classic. Because if you look at the patent, it looks like a Game Boy, the original Game Boy, the non-color version. Instead of producing hardware or producing that hardware on a massive scale that has the limit of whatever games are on the device itself, what if they just make a phone accessory and then you can just get the apps from the App Store?
I don't know. I mean, that'd be cool, but the Game Boy was great because that was I had that OG Game Boy and I spent many, many hours on it. But where it's really at, what I'd really like them to see some type of re-release or something would if they did like the Game Boy Advance, because that library was amazing, man. If you had something like that in a case where you could have that'd be awesome.
Look at your iPhone phone, like your screen size. Do you think, from memory, do you think the original Game Boy had a wider screen? Not necessarily taller, but as far as just the width.
Oh, no way.
Do you think it was way smaller?
Yeah.
Oh, well, wait, you have the Max.
Yeah.
Okay. I used to have an original Game Boy.
It's the Max.
In this room. I don't know what I did with it. I can't remember a quick Google search would tell me, but I was thinking like, I don't know if like would on smaller iPhones or on smaller, actually I because I'm so out of the loop as far as the Android ecosystem, I don't know what like an average phone screen size is, because the Pixel I'm pretty sure has around the same screen size as the iPhone 10. I know the Note 9 is huge. I know the Galaxy S9 is fucking huge. But yeah, if all the games were like redone for the App Store or the Google Play Store, they were all emulated, all colorful, I think that'd be super fucking cool.
Dude, the Game Boy Advance was the screen size was the full screen was 4 points. That's the Game Boy Classic. The 240 by 160 pixels, a 3:2 aspect ratio.
Oh my God.
So I mean, it's still almost like a square.
Right.
You know?
A little bit wider. I remember when you used to
Yeah.
play Game Boy games on the Advance, you could press L and R to stretch it if
Yeah.
you wanted to. It looked
Well,
terrible.
the great thing was the backlight. And then the Game Boy, remember when they made the Game Boy Advance SP?
Yep.
Where it was like the smaller square, and they had one that looked like the NES, like the classic NES
Yep.
version of that. That was a great fucking
Wait, your Game
handheld.
Boy Advance had a backlight? Mine didn't. The non-folding one?
No, you could. The non-folding one didn't. I don't
Okay.
think.
Yeah, because mine
But
definitely didn't.
The SP had a backlight.
Okay.
The Game Boy Advance SP did. But not the original ones did not.
Okay.
You could modify it to add a backlight to it.
Okay.
There were people doing that, but
Roger. Now people use Game Boys for fucking making chiptune music and shit.
no.
Crazy.
I love chiptunes.
Same. All right. First and foremost, I wanted to talk a little bit about the new Twitch tags, the categories, and kind of what your first impression has been with all of it. Has it changed the way you search? Has it changed the way you titled your streams and you went live? What's been your experience so far?
Well, I've only used it. I mean, it's pretty much. I haven't done any searching with them yet because I've been so busy with work. So I haven't done that. And I've noticed too, like they don't have a ton of categories yet. I thought that they would have some. I don't know what I'm looking for exactly. So I don't know what they should add that's not there. But I mean, mainly they've got a ton of speedrunning categories. They've got a bunch of different categories that are for obviously the creative community.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's pretty much it. I mean, it's creative stuff, talk show stuff, speedrunning stuff. But the only stuff for games is like, is it your first playthrough? Is it a casual? Are you a hard mode? I mean, but it's really like what type of playthrough it is for like a single player game or something like that. And that's pretty much it. But then again, I don't really know what else to add game wise to help you find stuff. So I don't know yet. I mean, I haven't really searched anyone yet. I don't know if anyone chat is using it to search for stuff yet or if it's helpful.
Are you ever that particular when you were looking for streams to watch?
I usually just search by game.
Okay.
So that's usually if I'm looking for a new stream to watch, a lot of times it's one of these are my top two: searching by game or looking to see who's being hosted by the people that I follow.
Okay.
Like those are my top two ways to find content to watch on Twitch.
Roger.
And I'd say that's 90%. Every now and then I just get a wild hair up my ass and I'll, I'm like, I'm just going to scroll through some directories, just see what I like.
Yep.
I'll see something I'm like, all right, I'm going to click on you, But 9 times out of 10, I click on them. I'm like, well, I don't like this.
And then you go. How long do you try and give yourself before moving along?
Like Twitch roulette. I'll usually give, I think probably longer than most. I'll probably give them at least a minute or two,
Damn.
because you never know. Because I have some bad minutes. I've looked at I look at some of the people who followed me for years, and I'm like, man, I don't even know why you followed me because I look at some of my old shit and it was bad.
Uh-huh.
They must have saw something. So I give them, I'll give them a little time. I'm like, okay, I like their, the audio sounds pretty good. That's usually the first thing you look for. If the audio sucks, I'm fucking out. I'm out.
Yep.
I'm out. That's like, I don't even wait. I'm like, nope. Next,
It's really hard to find people that you like. Because, when you're beginning, you'll watch anybody who's playing a video game. And then you start, like, your preferences start to kind of kick in, and then your opinions. And
I found, like I said, with the hosting stuff, I have found that a lot of the content creators, one of your favorite terms, your content creators that you love to watch, you will find some similar stuff that they enjoy. And some of some of my best friends and content that I love to watch on Twitch was thanks to me finding him, thanks to somebody else that I watched, and they introduced me to them, you know? So, I mean, that's probably, and word of mouth, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I can't, I'll be honest here. I can't tell you I've ever seen a tweet by someone and been like, oh, I need to see this tweet is, I just got to go see them based on this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's really difficult for me. I've been trying to okay, if I see one of my friends tweet out, hey, not just a retweet of them going live, but if it's a tweet that says, hey, my friend is live doing this, they're great because of this, give them a shot. I'll at least click on the link and try and see what's up. Yeah. But yeah, Twitter tweeting. The stream tweeting is man, what are you gonna do to get that person into your show?
Yeah, I've stopped trying to do. I used to have a form factor tweet that I would do, be live, and then what game I was playing, and then the address, and then it would be some type of message at the bottom with some type of funny animated GIF. Now, I just have something. It's usually, a lot of times it may not even be the game that I'm playing is even listed in the tweet.
Right.
It's just whatever I'm thinking at that moment when I draft the tweet. It's usually something stupid, sarcastic, funny-ish, and then my address, and then I just go live because I don't know, man. It turned into. I felt like I wasn't getting. Maybe I just don't know how to social media very well. That's what it is.
For one, it takes a insane amount of dedication and time and consistency to try and even get ahead. You really have to try and stay on top of it to make it useful. But at the same time, try not to be spammy with it at the same time. Because it's not like I didn't say anything about having extremely low tolerance for social media spam a little while ago.
No, that's true. I think that there's a threshold that people have if they see that you're just constantly retweeting stuff, and that's why I hate I recently applied to be on another stream team because I was on a stream team for a while that was really, really good when it was active and helped me get some exposure. I found a lot of people that I really enjoy watching and still watch now. Like Chinny, Chinny and Fit for Gaming, you met them when I was on the last visit, and I met them thanks to Crash Fam. Well, anyway, when the stream disbanded, I haven't, I've been looking to kind of get on another stream team. But one thing that always bothered me, and I even said something when the stream team, because there was a talk about, well, we want you to retweet people's tweets or this or that. I'm like, well, I will sometimes, but I'm not going to retweet everyone's shit. There's 30 people on the stream team plus. And if I start retweeting everyone's going live tweets, then I'm probably going to just lose a lot of followers, or I'm just going to be put on mute,
Exactly.
So I'm not going to do that. But I will certainly on occasion. Yeah. I'll always like them, and then I'll retweet occasionally, but I don't know. I think people just only have a certain amount of tolerance for that sort of stuff, I think.
Right. 100%. My experience so far, for one, the fact that the only way to categorize the English language is to search for the English category or the tag. So you can't just say I only want English streams. You have to search for the tag. But if the people don't tag their stream English, then you don't get put into that category. I don't really know why they made it that way. I feel because then you'd have to use one of your tags on the language that you're speaking.
You get?
3.
Well, yours has 4 right now. I'm looking at your.
What?
It says AMA, gaming news, interviews, English. You have 4 tags.
Maybe the English tag is applied by default then, because I didn't set the English tag.
Yeah, I think it must be because I think mine had it, and I haven't set that as a tag.
Okay.
Either.
Okay, then I was incorrect, and that's how it does that. Okay. That was the one thing I was like, why would they remove the ability to search by language and just apply every single person into just one. It's basically like, oh, we're all the same language, but you have to figure out if they're actually speaking English or not. For me, because I am a streamer first and a viewer second, I'm never this descriptive when I'm going to look for people to watch. The game that they're playing, the type of playthrough that they're doing, the character that they're playing, the mods that they're using, none of that matters to me. I care about is the person, am I going to vibe with this person or not? Are they entertaining? Do they actually put effort into their show? And like, that's what I kind of look for, because 9 times out of 10, if I go into a channel and it's somebody who is just playing video games because they want a platform to be able to broadcast their gameplay to their friends, and they don't care about growing a stream or community and all that stuff, I'm most likely not going to watch, because I'm trying to find other people who are like-minded, who are trying to do the same thing that I'm doing, just trying to find like-minded people. So, but my way isn't like searching through tags to do that. Like, if I want to find like-minded people, I'm going to look at my friends list on Twitch and see who my friends are watching. I'm going to go to their page and see who they're hosting. I'm going to see, because I know like a lot of the people that I follow on Twitter, if they retweet somebody, especially if they quote a going live tweet with a comment, that's like their personal, like they're okay. That's their old Kinderhook for whoever they're talking about. And that's usually enough incentive for me to go in and check it out. But because I'm on Twitch 80% as a broadcaster, 20% as a viewer. If I was not a streamer and I was only looking to watch a video game being played because that was my primary content that I wanted to consume, this would be very effective for me. But I just never get this detailed when I'm looking for other people. I would assume that somewhere in the near future, as like these artistic categories, dust begins to settle and everybody's in the category that they're supposed to be, when I'm trying to find a specific thing, this will come in handy. But for now, it's just kind of like, this is kind of just whatever for me.
And then now the IRL category is gone now, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. IRL is now just chatting. Everybody who was in IRL is now just in just chatting.
But I mean, they have like, don't they have like an ASMR category, or is that?
I believe so. And body painting. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And they have like, okay. Yeah. So, okay. I mean, I think it's a step in the right direction. I don't think it's where, I mean, there should be, I know there's an argument over this, and I don't want to get into it tonight because of how it is. And I'm not saying it because of the whole, and there should be a way to sort streams, not simply by view count. Yeah. I wish that there was a way to do that. Because like there should be a way to, and I know they could do it, where you could set up parameters of your stream, like game is this, and then you could set up like the tag parameters that you want, and then you could set up, you know, I don't even know, region or what. I mean, I just feel like you should be able to set up a filter list, you know, to find streams that way, aside from just view count. But I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I know you feel the same way. And
yeah, it's just like, if I can scroll down and find the group of people in between 20 and 40 viewers, why can't you just let me choose to see that, like just by itself? But yeah, it's got to be, has to be money related. They want as many viewers in the bigger streams as possible, because that's probably where all the money is.
I totally understand why they haven't done it.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a way to do that.
I agree. I'm actually surprised that there isn't any sort of extension that somebody has developed that was like, hey, here's an extension where you can load language, region, viewer count, sub count, like date of. I would love to see, like, I want to watch somebody who's streaming for the first month, like just not for fun, because I want you to be my amusement, but I want to see like, holy shit, this person did a year's worth of research before streaming, and their first stream is just fucking popping. They're killing it. I want to see where this goes.
I would love to see. This is when I was streaming on console, and before I had any. I even knew about like archiving VODs. Like, I wish I had some of my first console streams when I was streaming from a couch in my living room. I wish I had some of those saved because I would love to go back and watch that shit because I'm sure it was a fucking shit show.
Hell yes.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, a lot of my community has seen what my first couple years of streaming were like, and
that's broken.
Dude, there's a reason why I've been streaming for 5 years, okay? It's because my first 4 were atrocious. They were terrible. All right. Any final thoughts on that?
No, man. I think they're gonna keep working it, and I think when I have a little more time, I'll tinker with it a little bit to try and find some stuff. But
okay. New Nintendo Switch rumored to be coming out in 2019. So there hasn't really been a lot of information other than Nintendo is planning to have another console come out in summer of 2019, which would be, just shy of the holidays for the following year. Do you feel like there already needs to be another version? Because the Wii was out for 5 years. They never released an update. The Switch has been out for, I think it's 2 years or a little over 2 years. And they're already coming out with a refresh within the next, let's say, 8 months.
I think they're just trying to push hardware sales by doing minor improvements. It's not going to cost anymore. With some of the stuff like you mentioned in the script here, bigger battery, better Wi-Fi range, better Joy-Cons. I think they're just trying to sell more hardware. I don't really see it as, is there a need? No, but at the same time, why not improve it? I mean, they did that. If you think about it, they've done it with some of the other consoles. They did a refresh of the Super NES way late in its life cycle. They did it with the original Nintendo way late in its life cycle, and there was an interest in that. So I think what they're thinking is, especially now with the way the advances in hardware technology that are so quick, they've got the ability to put these improvements in and still have the cost of making the console probably, I bet you, even with these improvements, I bet you it's still costing them less to make than what they originally launched at. Why not? It just makes it a more desirable console to buy,
In your opinion, and you can include the things that I threw down in the script, what do you think it needs improvement on?
I would say better battery life, because depending on the game you're playing, the battery life can be pretty good or pretty shit. Like, for example, when I guess it was not last summer, but the summer before last, when I was coming to visit, I brought my Switch then. I played, it was Breath of the Wild, but that shit only got like a couple hours of battery life before my battery was dead.
Okay.
And because it just taxes the system so much. So that would be my number one. Like, if you had a better battery life, but to be honest, I wouldn't see myself buying, because for me, I play most of my Switch in docked mode, not in portable mode.
Right.
But I know that it really just depends on your situation. Most of my portable mode is playing like in bed, like not out somewhere on a bus or, I just don't, my commute to work is 10 minutes. So I don't have a lot of places where I'm going to play it portably unless I'm traveling long distance.
Okay.
So battery life would be nice, because when I would travel, being able to play it for more than a couple hours would be great. So, but I like the Joy-Cons. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really just think they're going to make some minor improvements to the console. It's not going to be anything. I don't think it'll be anything major. I think it'll just be, like they did with the slight updates of previous consoles.
Right. Speaking of Nintendo news, I was doing some research on Mario Party, the new Mario Party that came out. And apparently the online multiplayer is extremely limited. First point,
Yeah, I heard that.
First point being that there's no storyboard multiplayer. And if you want to play the mini games, you can only play 10 at any given time out of the 80 plus.
Why?
I don't know.
Like, that is the whole point of Mario Party, is playing like the board games. So if you can't do that online, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. So the mini games rotate every week, I believe, and it's a different it's a different
really?
10. Yeah.
See, okay. Yeah, I may not be buying that anytime soon.
Probably am not buying it after reading that as well.
Well, I mean, I'm going to buy it for my son because we'll play it around the house, and he loves the Mario Party games. It's one of his favorite games to play. My wife and him were playing it tonight.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not going to buy it for myself.
No, because that was the only reason I wanted to play Mario Party Online. Like,
I wanted to play it with you and Weenie and...
Right.
Yeah, man.
The fact...
Advance, man.
I want to know why, after putting all of the work into 84 different mini games and then releasing an online platform for people to play multiplayer online.
It's just fucking stupid.
And then restrict it to not being able to play the storyboard online and then only being able to play 10 mini games at a time.
You know, I'm sure it's a fun game. But the fact that you can't... it's just so frustrating. Nintendo does such... They are so awesome and so stupid at the same time.
It's the Apple
frustrating.
effect.
Yeah, I don't understand them sometimes.
Yep.
They make such great decisions and such terrible ones at the same time.
Made me sad. So I'm hoping, like, my fear is that the new Super Smash Brothers is going to come out and it's like, oh, you can only play 4 characters online. All the other ones are off limits and you can only play half of the stages. So I'm fucking hoping that they kind of lighten up.
They're bringing up some good points in chat right now. Like Paul's talking about putting pressure, the community putting pressure on them. Same thing with Vans, man. There's no reason why they couldn't patch it in later. You know what I mean? Especially if they get enough people to buy the game. Oh, and I know I'll be buying at least one copy because my son loves the shit out of some Mario Party. So he'll get it for his Nintendo Switch that he's getting for Christmas. So that'll probably be the other game he gets, at least from us. I'm sure grandma or whatever might buy him another game. But
like, in your opinion, do you think the target market is there's way more people sitting on a couch together playing locally? Or do you think that the majority of the community is playing online with their friends?
I don't know, man. I guess it depends on... I don't know what Nintendo's looking at. Maybe they got access to number. I mean, if you're looking at North America, though, and which has got to be their biggest market, even big, obviously bigger than Japan. Yeah, it's fucking online play, you know? Locals, I love local.
Right.
Local plays great. But if you really want to expand the audience, why would you not? The only thing that tells me, this is what I suspect, that the Switch hardware compared to like even like the PS4 and Xbox One is limited. And maybe something because their online network is supposedly not the greatest. Maybe they were having latency issues or something to where it just was not a very good experience playing it online.
That and with Nintendo not even supporting a hardwired internet connection out of the box, that's going to add some problems too. So
yeah, because wireless network play is sometimes great, but it can also have lag and some spikes, and it can be an issue.
Yeah,
you know?
Sad. Well, with that said, I'm still planning on buying my own Switch. I'm most likely going to be grabbing... I'm kind of torn right now. I'm either going to get the Super Smash Brothers Nintendo Switch bundle and then buy a Pro controller, a GameCube controller, and the adapter. Or I'm just going to buy a regular Switch because I don't really care about the decals on the Switch itself. And the only time I'm going to be using Joy-Cons on the Switch is if they force me to. I'm never gonna choose to use the Joy-Cons. So I think I'm gonna buy a regular Switch and then buy the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Limited Edition. It's like $130. It comes with the game. It comes with the Decal Pro controller, a book, and then like a limited edition case. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, and that way I can just kind of get the Switch early, and then there's like a bunch of other accessories I wanted to get to. So I'll still most likely be buying it. One, I need to play Breath of the Wild. I need to play.
Oh my god, it's so good, dude.
I need to play Super Mario Odyssey. I need to play. There's some Wii U games that are getting ported over to the Switch. The new Super Mario Brothers Wii U, I believe, is one of them that's coming up.
That was okay.
I love that one.
I don't know. It wasn't bad, but I mean, I kind of look at it in the way I look at like a bowl of cinnamon oatmeal. Like, that's okay. A big fat bowl of okay.
Okay. That's like, all right, fine. And then there's some other titles that I know I want to play. And then, yeah, just like I was really counting on Mario Party to have an online mode that I could just destroy friendships.
I was too. I'm really disappointed with that news because I wanted to be. I'm still gonna buy a copy of it because again, my son loves Mario Party, but I wanted to be able to play it online. You know, I just thought that'd be a lot of fun. You know, not just play 10 mini games a week. Be able to actually play the board game online. Be fucking cool as shit.
Absolutely. Like that's just hours and hours of mini games and just goofing off. I was really looking forward to that. And especially when I saw that they were bringing back mini games that were in Mario Party 1 and 2. I was losing my fucking mind watching that Nintendo Direct.
Oh my god, dude. We want to talk about my younger days of me being an asshole. It really came out when we were playing Mario Party, dude. There were fisticuffs that happened at my house when we played Mario Party on N64.
Stealing stars, motherfucker?
Yeah, bitch.
All right. Last but not least, I wanted to kind of talk about that. I didn't create a thing for that. No Man's Sky. I wanted to know what your thoughts have been lately. I was getting into bed like 2 nights ago, and I was like, Weenie, you know what? Game I had a really good time playing, but I've had no desire to play ever again. No Man's Sky. Like, I rebought it. I played it for one day for like 6 or 7 hours, had an amazing time, and then I have not played it again since.
See, I feel like I want to play it with a group and like have like a No Man's Sky day, because now that there's multiplayer, I feel like there's a lot of potential to play that. Like, I want to try playing it multiplayer with some people I like.
There you go.
You know?
Yep.
Like, I really want to do that. Maybe we should try after when things slow down for me. Maybe we can come back and play it together and like have like schedule a time to play it together.
I'm down. You know? Are you playing on PC now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to set that up.
Are you proud of me, Papa?
I am. Yes, Papa.
yeah, man. So we could do it, and I don't even have to stream it or anything. I wanna play it. And it's a really fun game. I feel bad that I don't have enough time to play it that much.
Yeah.
Because it is that much fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I am planning on playing it some more again. The problem is there's too many new fucking games coming out. This game came out 2 years ago.
The man is, well, it wasn't good until 2 months ago, though.
Yes,
well, in my opinion, Fonen's gonna fucking kill me.
But it wasn't. No, in my opinion too, it wasn't good. Very big fat bowl of okay, until recently. But yeah, they keep patching it. They've patched like a couple more times in the last month or so.
Okay. Yeah, there was another article that they were working on like exosystem exploration or something like that. They were trying to pick up.
No, if I had, dude, I would play that game every day if I had the time to play it every day. I really enjoyed the game. The problem with it for me too is because of my schedule and how busy I am too. I also know for for me, and this is why I'll never be able to play it as much as I want to. It's the type of game where when I play it, I kind of zone out a little bit. And I know that may not always be the best thing when it comes to streaming a game. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm just kind of in awe, and I don't know. It is, and I know there's still a lot of people streaming it and playing it, but the viewership for that game has died down a little bit.
For sure.
But it's still, I mean, I think even on, I don't know what it's like right now, but I want to say the last couple times I've looked, it's been around 1,000 viewership for that game, I think. So I don't know. I'm gonna still keep playing it from time to time, but it's a huge time sink.
It really is. It, like, if I was 18 years old and that game like came out and I had 40 hours a week to just dump into it, I would probably be going ham.
I'm glad that this game wasn't out when I was a teenager, because I would have not left the house, dude. I would have played the shit out of this game. And it's so fun, but this is the type of game where you can spend 7 or 8 hours playing it and feel like you really haven't done anything. You know? And that's the type of game that this is. You can do a bunch of little trivial stuff, but it's
like the one thing that I always try, it's something that I always think about, and I try to push the thought out of my head, is when I'm playing this game, what's the point? Like, even though everything that exists in video games has no real life reward, like a monetary reward, or, you know, something like that, or like an end game. Like when you play a single player campaign, you play it, you beat it, and then it's done, and then you're away. But whenever there's a game that has like a replayability effect, especially when it comes to like sandbox survival games, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna farm these things for a super long time, but then what? Like, what's it gonna do for me? And it's really hard for me to like get out of that cynical mindset. It's like, no, what if the video game's good and you enjoy it, then just play it. Yeah. But like being older and knowing that like time is valuable and short, it's like, fuck, I really want to play something I love when I have the time.
And you're also in the back of your mind, you're thinking too, there's all these other games.
So many.
You know? And I love the game. I love since they updated it, but you know, it's a game. It's a game that I think since they've fixed it, that I will probably be the game that I play the most off stream from now on.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't see myself streaming it that often anymore, but I do see myself playing this game off stream. It's for sure.
That is probably going to be my take on Call of Duty Blackout. It'll be like a fallback game if I really have nothing to play, or if like Weenie and I don't have anything to play for a party night. But as far as like making that a regular thing, it's just like I would rather just have that off-stream fun.
You know, I'm glad that a lot of people enjoyed the beta for that, including you, because I had no hope in that shit. I thought it was going to be a shit show, and apparently a lot of people thought it was really good.
Tally me under thought that game wasn't going to amount to shit, but it was half of I didn't think it was going to amount to anything, and half I didn't think I was going to like it, because I've never been about Call of Duty modern or Call of Duty multiplayer games. I've enjoyed campaigns, but I was never really drawn into the multiplayer aspect of it all. So for that game, I think between the 2 days that I played it, the beta was only open for a couple days. 2 days, I think I put 15 hours into it. Just back to back, just so much time. And I really had a really good time. We've talked about this, so I won't go into it too deep, but they tackled it perfectly. The gunplay was great. The performance was awesome. The engagement with other people was great. The map size was perfect. They threw in like a little bit of nostalgia with throwing old maps in different parts of the entire map. Like, it was just all so well done. It wasn't something I thought that they had in them. I did not think they had the capability of building a game like this. It really makes me think how long they were working on it. Like behind closed doors. Like how much time did they actually put into this game before it came out? Because shit was good. I mean, I really enjoyed myself and I didn't think I was going to.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. Any final thoughts before we move on to the Q&A?
Not much, dude. No, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Stream Deck, what do you know, is lagging behind. The stream does not endorse the use of Stream Decks. They're terrible. I'm just kidding. They're actually really great. But for some reason, I think I have a dud because mine fucks up a lot. Like a lot. So maybe I'll fucking replace it one day. Okay, time to get on to the Q&A. We're taking questions that you guys have submitted throughout the majority of the duration of the show. And we're going to get into those questions now. We are no longer taking questions. So if you haven't gotten it in, I won't see it. I'm sorry. I love you. Fuck. There they are. Okay. First question. This one comes from American Aero Pilot. Knackers, what happened to your hair? It died and fell out. No joke. It was like 2 years ago. My hair started thinning. And then it got to the point where I was looking at my scalp every single day to see if there was a way that I could part my hair a certain way so that it wouldn't be noticeable. And then I got so fed up that I just started shaving my head because I was getting annoyed at worrying about what my head looked like. So I just shave it and my life is way easier.
But in your defense, you do have a nice round head. So
Thank you.
I mean, no, some people look weird with a shaved head. They really do.
I'm blessed because I was watching a Mighty Mouse stream. I think I've said this on stream before, but somebody asked Mighty Mouse, a UFC streamer or UFC fighter who streams, if he was mad that he went bald. And he goes, "Bald? What do you mean mad? I was chosen. God looked down upon me and said, this is a strong man. This is a strong-willed man. I am going to give him the gift of being bald. So I'll see it as being chosen, man. I was chosen to wear the bald head." I'm like, you know what? That's a great fucking way. So I am lucky that A, I was chosen to wield the bald head, and B, I was lucky enough to have a normal shaped head in order to wear it. So,
and for that, you can thank your mom's vagina.
Sculpted it well. Shit was tight. Okay, that's a little far. Sorry. Next question comes from Conbot. Mom, this is why if you ever see this episode in the future, this is why I tell you to never come looking for me on the internet, because you will be disappointed. Okay?
You're welcome.
Sorry, Mom. Is that... I'm not going to go there. Okay. Next question comes from Conbot. What is a fond memory that you have had of a video game, whether in-game or experience with friends? I've been thinking about that kind of cool stuff lately.
You know, when I was a kid, like a really young kid, like grade school, it's fond memory. I think one of my fondest memories with video games, it goes back to when I was probably 11. And my parents, I didn't get a lot of games when I was a kid. You know, we used to rent from the video store all the time because games were pretty expensive. I mean, they cost the same back then as they do now, pretty much. And, you know, with inflation, I mean, the dollar went a lot further back then. So I didn't get to buy a lot of games because it was my parents and, you know. Anyway, one of the things my parents used to do to incentivize me to do well at school or events was they would say, if you do something, then we're going to get you a video game. So my parents told me I keep this around on my desk. I like to show it off and chat when I'm on stream. I am the reigning 1989 second grade first place spelling bee champ. But I've actually won more spelling bees than just my second grade one. And when I was in fifth grade, I won, and this was back when I was living in Alaska for a bit. I won my fifth grade spelling bee, and then I went on to the regional competition. And my mom told me that if I won the regional and went on to state, that she'd buy me any video game I wanted. So 5th grade Jimmy is studying his ass off. Like I'm doing freaking words all the time. I've got the book. I'm studying. I'm studying for like a month. You know, I'm eschewing playing video games to study for the spelling bee. Okay, and I make it to like the final round. Like I'm in like the top 8, and it's finally my turn to go up and get one. And I've already spelled some really hard words like coulage, which is coulage.
Don't
Exactly.
Don't ask me.
And whatever. And I went out on a word that I should not have gone out. I can't remember what it was. I wish I could remember that part of the story, but I honestly don't remember the word that knocked me out.
Charcuterie.
But I was, it might have been. And I remember being really, really upset. And not just because I had gotten knocked out, because I had been studying for nonstop for like over a month, and I wasn't going to get that video game. And we went to Pizza Hut afterwards, and I remember they had that. I don't know if you remember the game Pit Fighter. It was an old like Atari game called Pit Fighter, and they had an arcade machine.
I never had an Atari.
Okay, well, it was published by Atari, but there was a game called Pit Fighter. It was like a shitty like beat 'em up arcade game you could play. Some of you older people in chat might remember it. But anyway, I was playing that, and I was just sad playing my Pit Fighter at Pizza Hut, thinking, and I didn't want to say anything, because I knew I did my best and whatever. And then after we left, we went. My parents stopped at and my parents were hard asses, dude. Like they didn't there was never any. But I think they just saw how crushed I was, and I had worked so hard. So we stopped at the Fred Meyer's on the way home, and my mom said, "You know what? I couldn't have spelled that word either. You can have whatever video game you want." And so I picked the new Ninja Turtles 3 game that came out for NES, Manhattan Project.
Wow.
And I played the shit out of that game, man, and it was awesome. And so when I think, I don't know, I've just got a really fond memory of that moment and how it was just, I was so happy to get a game. Like, I can't ever think a time in my life that I was so proud to have gotten a video game as that moment.
It's a great moment. Okay. And I want you to hold on to it.
Yeah.
But you are the reason that participation trophies are a thing in 2018. And you should be ashamed of yourself. You didn't earn that game. Take that memory and throw it out the fucking window. Participation
what they
trophy.
should have done is they should have taken me to Fred Meyer's. Mom said, "What game did you want to get?" And I would point at the Ninja Turtles 3 in the stand. She goes, "Oh, you want this game? Well, then you should have done better at the goddamn spelling bee, son. Let's go back to the fucking car.
Just frisbee that shit."
Here's 2 more quarters for Pit Fighter. That's all the shit you're playing.
No, that's a super wholesome story. That's actually because the fact that your mom admitted that she wouldn't have been able to spell it either, and
that was the thing. She said she wouldn't be able to spell that one in like the 3 words I spelled previously, and it was a tough competition.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just. I mean, you don't get trophies like this without being a badass.
This is true.
You don't.
Yeah. So. My answer to this question. There's only been one time in my life where I have realized how good a thing was, and actually, I'll just tell a story. So after I got dumped in my last relationship, I was living alone. I was streaming. I had a full-time job, and the only responsibilities that I had was to go to work, do my thing, come home, and exist. And so after getting broken up with, living by myself, being alone most of the time, I pretty much kind of cut myself because like my group of friends that I was hanging out with in my last relationship were all friends in my ex's circle. And so it was very hard to like be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go hang out where I know I'm normally doing, but it'll be fine. So in that time, I would drink a lot of alcohol and play a lot of Rocket League. And there was a time where I was in our old gaming community's Discord, And almost every single night, I was in the Rocket League channel playing Rocket League with like Mr. Vans Man, Mr. 42, and who are two of my best friends, and a bunch of other guys. And we would just drink, talk shit, and play Rocket League. And there was one time where I was like, okay, I got to go up and get another beer. And this is like when I got my fattest, by the way, because the amount of alcohol, I would drink 7, 8, 9 beers in a night over like a 5-hour period. And I would just do that over and over and over and over again.
That's a lot of calories, man.
And I remember like sitting back and obviously wasted at the time and just going, man, I'm single. I have no responsibilities other than work. I get to play video games for like 40 hours a week. I'm spending time with my best friends. And I remember thinking to myself, this is not going to last. And I'm going to be sad when it's not this way. Because like, even if my life stayed exactly the same, your friends are going to meet a girl. Your friends are going to move. Your friends might move on from video games. Like, you never know what's going to happen. And I remember just sitting there in that moment thinking like, this is, even though I was so fucking depressed because like I just gotten dumped after a 5.5-year relationship. I'm by myself playing video games all the time. I mean, a lot of people have heard me say this, but Weenie actually saved me from going down deeper into a very, very dark part of my life. So I just remember being there in that moment thinking it's never going to be this good again. And by good, I mean depressed, overweight, playing video games for 40 hours a week. Like, you know, it's just like, man, it was like being 18. You know, it was like,
yeah,
I
know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like, I don't give a shit about anything at all.
Yeah.
And that was the only time in my life where I've been able to stop in the middle of something and go, you have a good thing, enjoy it while you can, because it's not going to be there forever.
Well, I can tell you this, and I know I've said this to you before, but having known you before Weenie and after Weenie, you are a much happier and better dude with her around. So
100% agree.
You guys are a good duo, and I'm glad you guys met. I am.
Thank you, Mr. Twitch.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I guess my other story doesn't really compare, but I just remember when I was like 19 years old, I had just moved out of my parents' house into my then girlfriend's house, and I had Xbox Live, and I would just play Halo 3 with a bunch of my buddies for hours and hours and hours. And that just like that 4v4 online experience on Xbox was like one of the best times ever. And
dude,
it'll never be the same.
Oh, dude, I used to love freaking playing Halo 2 when I was in Iraq. And we used to link up our Xboxes, and we played when Halo 2 came out when I was in Iraq, and I was on R&R back in the States for like 2 weeks. And I picked up a bunch of copies, took them back, and we were living out in Iraq in the desert, and we linked up all our Xboxes, and we're playing Halo 2 at night, off shift or whatever, in the middle of the desert, playing, you know, swords and frickin' shotguns,
yep,
and shit like that. That was some fun, man. That was some fun.
You had to deal with fucking actual flood over there in Iraq with those fucking crabs and shit, dude.
Yeah, there was some crazy shit out there, man.
God.
Was.
So that question was from Conbot. Second to last question from
Good question.
Very good question.
Conbot. Yeah.
You guys, you know, one of my favorite parts about the podcast is answering the questions that you guys supply, because you guys give us some great fucking questions. So thank you. This one's from Magic Monkey. Are you excited for Fallout 76, it being a multiplayer this time around?
I'm reserving my judgment for some of my friends who play a lot of multiplayer. I don't play a ton of multiplayer stuff, but I do trust my friends that do, including you. So I'm going to wait and see what they think. But, I mean, got the pedigree. I mean, for sure. It's got the pedigree given the fact that I don't think Bethesda's going to release a steaming pile of shit. So
right.
I'm thinking it's probably going to be cool, but I just want to see how it plays to see if it's something that I would want to play. I think it might be something that I might enjoy watching more than I enjoy playing. So if that's the case, I may not get it, but I'm hoping it turns out well, because I know there's a lot of people that are excited for it, and I really do want it to be good. So
I am excited to give it a shot. I am also fearful that is not going to be my type of game. I enjoy Fallout games. I had a great time with Fallout 3. I got bored of Fallout 4 like 30 hours in. I still had fun. I don't know if this is going to be a game for me, but I'm still going to be giving it a shot. I think it's a cool take on their version of the game while factoring in like the survival aspects of it. I'm trying not to look too much into it. I feel like I've missed out on a lot of great video game experiences because I've been too judgmental or been too cynical based on what I've seen and what I've watched. I'm not going to watch anybody stream it. I'm going to buy it when it comes out. I'm going to buy it, wait for like the news articles to come out within the first week, bugs, performance, replayability, all that stuff, and then I'll most likely buy it. But I'm pretty pumped for it. It wasn't until I saw this question that I realized I would much rather play Fallout 76 in VR than I would just sitting at my computer playing it.
When does it come out?
The open beta is later this month, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Because does it come out this year?
Yeah. Fallout 76 beta will kick off October 23rd on Xbox One. If you have pre-ordered it. So if I see anybody in Discord
that noise.
or on Twitch playing Fallout 76 before October 30th, just know I'm going to block and ban you because I know you pre-ordered.
Conbot's gonna be freaking playing that shit. Come on.
So yeah, it says open beta for Xbox One is October 23rd. The company will open up the beta on PlayStation 4 and Windows PC 1 week later on October 30th. So then, yeah, I'm guessing the game's going to be coming out later in November, full out.
Really? Okay. November. Magic Monkey saying November 14th.
Okay, sounds about right.
Wow.
That's enough time to do the PC and the...
Wow.
It's actually interesting to see that the beta is coming out for the Xbox first and then PC and PS4 later. Like PC and Xbox aren't from the same manufacturer. Like, what the fuck?
It is weird.
Is this allowed?
They might have fucking Microsoft might have thrown some money.
100%. All right. Last question. From Pineapples. Piney! Earlier you said that 4 out of 5 years of your streaming career weren't as good as your 5. What have you changed on professional level to improve? It's a amalgamation of a lot of different things.
Good word, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got that one from my word calendar right before we started today. When I got introduced to Twitch, I knew like what my understanding of Twitch was, this is a website where you can broadcast your gameplay to your friends so that they can watch. I did not know that people were making livings off of streaming their video games, and like I didn't understand the aspect of communities and like just like growing a brand. Like I just saw it as a website where you just broadcasted your video game gameplay. So I got into Twitch just showing my friends what we were playing. And that was it. That's all I understood. And it wasn't until down the road when I realized, oh shit, there's people with hundreds and thousands of viewers. There's people who are making livings. There's people who are working part-time and they're working on Twitch. So my introduction into Twitch was, I want to do this because I see other people making a living. It was, I just want to show my friends the game that I'm playing. And that was it. So I never had the mindset of, I need to build a brand. I need to be an entertainer. I never really had that. So after, I would say 2 or 3 years of not caring about growing a community, growing a channel, growing a personal brand, it wasn't until that time I was like, okay, I can either just stop streaming because I don't want to take this to the next level and I don't really care about, making a success out of this thing, or I can actually give a shit and actually start putting some time into this. And it wasn't until about the 2 or 3 year mark where I was like, I need to start working on myself as a streamer. I need to work on my people skills. I need to work on my multitasking. I need to work on my situational awareness. I need to educate myself with social media, with how online businesses work, with how the term networking works and all that stuff. And it wasn't until that point that I really started taking all of that stuff seriously. And that's when I really started to sit down and try to come with, when you start streaming, at least when I started streaming, it was go live, play video games for 3 hours, and then turn off and not think about it whatsoever. And then you get to the point where it's like, oh, well, I'm writing scripts for shows and I'm brainstorming ideas for shows, and you start testing out things, finding out what's working. You start taking your graphics into consideration. You start considering hardware to further the production value of your show. So it was just a combination of all that stuff. Like that's when Bozo was always part of the show. He always sat within the webcam's field of view. He didn't really become a part of the show until the past year or so. And it's when you start realizing, okay, hey, do I really want to put some effort into this? Do I really want to try and make something? Do I want to make a show instead of making a stream? And then you just kind of make that conscious decision, and then you really just start trying. It was when I realized I had that, when I was able to grab 5 or 10 concurrent average viewers, or the same thing, concurrent viewers, I was like, okay, there's a reason people are watching. I should really give this a shot. I should really try this and try and make it into something. So hopefully that answer made sense. It was really the switch of my mindset from this is a hobby to this is now almost like this is a business. This is something that I want to pursue. This is something I want to make real life sacrifices in order to pursue. You just kind of make that decision at some point. Jimmy, do you have anything to kind of, in retrospect to that?
I haven't been streaming quite as long as you've been streaming, but I have been streaming for close to 4 years. And I a lot of the stuff you said, I totally agree with. And it was kind of similar to me. When I started streaming on Twitch, it was more like, hey, I'm going to play a game for a couple hours. I didn't really understand how. I wasn't good. I know Piney asked this question. One of the reasons I know Piney and draws such a big audience at times is because he's fucking amazing at some of the games he plays. Well, I don't have that skill. So for me to draw an audience, it's got to be more than just me just popping in a game and playing. I got to put some time and energy in figuring out what it is I'm doing. I think that was a turning point for me. And really, honestly, I think a lot of that kind of happened in the last year or so, where I realized that, man, I've got a core audience and they keep coming back. So how do I make this better? And I'm screwing things up all the time, and I'm constantly trying to learn and do new things, but I am trying to get better. And I think that if you have that mindset as a streamer that you're always trying to improve something, and usually it's one thing a month that I focus on to try and get better at, then you're going to end up being all right. You're going to be pretty damn good, no matter what you're doing, what you're streaming, or what you're playing.
Right.
So,
yeah, my mindset has never been I want to stream full time. I want to play video games for a living. My draw to streaming is the sense of just having a group of people to belong to. Just having like-minded people who are passionate about the same things, just being within that space. And for streamers, partnership is the goal, and it's a mark that everybody wants to hit. For me, it's
not the end point though.
No, it really isn't. It's the start. It's the start of everything. And it's partner would be great, but to me, I just want to do something that is successful. I just want to do something in the creative field that could be viewed as successful. And obviously, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, or whatever the saying is. That's neither here nor there, I believe, is the other thing.
Oh, can be taught.
Yeah, no, I just want to be good at something, you know? And it's like I've spent the last like 10 years doing a bunch of different things, trying different hobbies, and this is the first thing that I've actually felt like I've done well. And that's kind of like my drive to just keep going with it. I love being around people who love the same shit, whose passion is to build up everybody around them, to further their knowledge and whatever they're passionate about, and to just to belong to a group of people who love what they do every day. And like before Twitch, it was my last gaming community. That was my other half of my life, was just being in that gaming community and being around other people who also love that too. And basically, I mean, I just love online communities. I love online communities. I love meeting up with people. Some of my best friends that I've had in my entire life have all evolved from relationships in the online world. And I just feel like to not be involved in the online communities that exist right now would almost be a sin, because like the reach that we have nowadays, like,
it's amazing.
It would be such a waste to not take advantage of the internet and to just, you can do so many fucking amazing things. And that's what I try and remind myself of every day, is that we have these amazing tools that give us opportunities that did not exist 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And it's just a great fucking space to exist in.
Hell yeah, brother. Preach.
Well, preach it. All right,
preach
dude.
it.
Any final points before we get the fuck out of here?
No, man, I really had a good time tonight. It sucks that Salty wasn't here, but at the same time, I thought it was a really good show. So, again, always a pleasure to be on.
I'm just super glad that we were able to have the first official 1v1 with the middle-aged stream.
Yeah, the first fucking one.
Oh,
first
God.
one ever.
I'm so sorry.
Wait, how do you know all these questions? You asked me them almost 2 years ago.
God, dude, I think my memory fell out with my hair.
It probably did.
I cannot fucking remember things for the life of me. It's terrible.
All right, brother. Still love you.
All right. Well, everyone, unfortunately, that is the end of the show. But what we do want to do one final time is to ask Jimmy who he is, where he's at online, what he has coming up as far as his stream schedule, and then we will close this bitch down.
Well, again, my name is Jimmy, aka MiddleAgedStream. You can find me on Twitch at MiddleAgedStream, also on Instagram at MiddleAgedStream, on Twitter, MiddleAgedStream, no D. And this week is a weird week because I usually stream during football season on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but I have sub-varsity games Wednesday, so I'll be home late. So I'm going to try and do Tuesday, Saturday this week, and then I'll be back to normal after that. But I'm just trying to beat Spider-Man, dude. Spider-Man PS4, it's all I'm about. It's fucking awesome. You need to play it, dude, because you have a PS4, and it's fucking good.
What's the next game that's coming up after Spider-Man?
I think we may take a little break because it was a long game. I might do like a retro title or two. We might do a retro night. But then I think we need to jump into Red Dead Redemption, I think, is probably going to be next because I want to play the sequel and I got to replay the first. Because I haven't played the first one since before I started streaming. No, I played it. Oh. I just haven't played it since before I started streaming. So I want to stream it and play through it on stream. So I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Okay. My name is Knackers. Of course, you guys can find me on this very channel. My stream schedule is about to get a little wonky. I am most likely accepting a job offer tomorrow, which means very soon my day streams will be no more, and I'll be going back to the Tuesday, Thursday streaming, where I'm only streaming Tuesday and Thursday evenings, which is sad because I've had an amazing time doing day streams these past 2 months, but I also have missed a bi-weekly paycheck that helps pay the bills. So I need to get back into the working environment. Coming up, I am going to be kind of playing either Scum. We have The Last of Us that needs to come soon. Hey.
You haven't played that?
No.
Holy fuck, you're going to love it.
I know the
Oh, it's
majority
so
of
good.
the ending, but it's still a game that I want to play.
You're gonna love it. It don't matter.
And I also need to get in a day of Super Meat Boy, which is another game that I haven't played before.
Oh, dude, I'm scared to play that game.
Yeah, the rage is already filling up in my balls. But yeah, so I'm not really sure what's going on with my stream schedule. I know we're going to have streams at least Tuesday and Thursday next week. If I have some time during the day, I'll throw some in there. Of course, we're going to have another podcast next Sunday. It's going to be another 1v1 podcast. And then we'll have another free-for-all episode with Salty Sam and another special guest in 2 weeks from now. So yeah, that's it. I want to extend a huge thank you to everybody that stopped by the show and to anybody who is listening to this podcast. One quick announcement for anybody that uses Spotify, the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast is now available on Spotify. They just released a podcast beta for uploaders. So if any of you guys have podcasts and you're wondering, just search the Spotify podcast beta. You just enter in the RSS feed for your podcast and it automatically uploads to Spotify. And even if you're not a paying member, you can get the Spotify app and get all the podcasts right to your phone. So I know people have been asking me about Spotify for the longest time, and I pretty much just held off until they made it easier for me to do it. And they've made it easy, so it's there for you. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. We will see you guys next week for episode 74 of the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. Appreciate you guys hanging out, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. I'm going to go put some accoutrements on my wife's boobs. That's my plan to close out this Sunday night.
Oh, bitch. My God. Later, Jimbo.
Later, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Always later.